Obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So just a minute. Yeah, it's recording. So definition of cloud computing as per the NIST, as well as the characteristics of cloud computing broad network access is one of the advantage when we plan for BCP DRP. Rapid elasticity is achievable by the character of resource pooling. Resource pooling means serving the resources to multiple tenants. Multi-tenancy is always a concern.
Yes.
If any question directly or indirectly talking about multi-tenancy, one of the best solution is encryption. Go for that. Okay. Any question talking about the particular organization wants to adapt to a cloud service provider for shared storage. What is shared storage? It's a multi-tenancy. So what is one of the best control? Encryption, man. They may not ask you directly multi-tenancy, but by reading the question, you will understand they're talking about multi-tenancy and select the answer encryption. That is what IC Square is expecting from you. For multi-tenancy, encryption is one of the best solutions.
Yes.
Clear now?
Yes.
Okay. Next one is on-demand self-service. Whenever there is a demand, I'm going to do the self-service by myself. That means whenever there is a requirement, as a cloud admin, I can log into my portal and I can create my own resources. That is on-demand self-service. But
Yes.
what is the concern here? If there is no proper cloud governance, okay, if there is no proper cloud governance, you know what is governance? The rules that runs the organization. So we have, for organization, we have the overall enterprise governance, and then we have the information security governance, we have the data governance. Like this, we have the cloud governance. If any organization wants to adapt or migrate to the cloud, they have to first have a proper cloud governance. With help of the cloud governance, they might create the cloud related policies and the procedures and the standards and the guidelines. If they have a proper cloud governance, the senior management will have a proper visibility in the cloud usage and consumption of the cloud resources by their employees. If they don't have this proper cloud governance, this on-demand self-service character can create a concern called as sprawl. You remember sprawl?
Yes.
Sprawl, otherwise shadow IT. I'm sure that you know about what is shadow IT.
Yeah, means unapproved
Yes,
resource.
unapproved or unsanctioned app usage.
Yes.
Right, that is one thing. But the most important concern is sprawl. If there is no control over the provision and consumption of cloud services, if there is a need, if they can consume or if they can create their own resources, absolutely there will be a lot of resources will be consumed, and for that the organization has to pay for it. So there is a cost involved in that condition. We call it as a sprawl. Because of the unprolifered consumption of the resources on the cloud without proper control can lead into sprawl, which can go into more consumption of resources, which can map into more cost for the organization. On-demand self-service. Now clear this one?
Yes.
They can ask you a question like this only, man, right? And then measured or metered service. Whatever I'm going to consume, I'm going to pay for it. This is one of the best advantage for any organization migrating or adapting to the cloud, right? That is one of the benefit. Now, these are all the 5 essential characteristics of cloud computing as per the NIST Special Publication 800-145. But ISO IEC 17788, they have added one more 6th character as the extra character here. Any idea what is it?
That is multi-tenancy, right?
Perfect, man. Multi-tenancy. If any question in the exam talking about according to ISO IEC 17780, and what is the 6th character which is added there, means it's multi-tenancy. Multi-tenancy is a concern. For that, encryption is one of the solution. From this, you'll be getting a question. Okay, clear?
Okay.
Characteristic.
Yes.
Like this mapping. I'll be sharing the recording in the Google Drive as well. You can just review it before the exam as well.
Yes. So yeah, I'll keep it as a revision purpose on the last days of exam.
Yes. Service model. and the deployment model. Okay, very important. And you will be getting a scenario-based questions. Scenario-based questions in this. Very, very important, right? You should never skip any domains in IC requirement. The first thing is, right? Don't think like, okay, I can skip domain 6 and I can focus much more on domain 1 to domain 5. I can clear the exam. It's not going to happen. For all the domains, you have to have a very good visibility and idea about the concepts, because they're going to test you from all the 6 domains. But right now, the questions are coming more from domain 1, domain 3, and domain 6, domain 2 and domain 6. Service model. Infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So here you have to have a good idea about what is infrastructure as a service, what is platform as a service, and what is software as a service. Now, if any question in the exam talking about, we have an on-prem environment, development environment. For example, we have an on-prem environment. We want to replicate the same thing on the cloud. And we have to go for the custom configurations for the servers and the firewalls. And we have to have the most control over the environment. The answer is infrastructure as a service.
Yes.
And this cloud service model and deployment model, we have a concept here called a shared responsibility model. Shared responsibility model. Based on the service model, the demarcation point will vary between the years, PaaS and the SaaS. For example, in infrastructure as a service, we access the service in the form of a virtual machine where we install the operating system on top of it. As a customer, if it is a Linux machine, I SSH. If it is a Windows machine, I RDP. So from the operating system, it is customer's responsibility. But underlying virtualization stack and the infrastructure, physical security, everything will be taken care by the CSP. Right? Here as a customer, I have most control over the environment. So here in the operating system, I can apply the custom configuration. I can configure an NSG firewall. I can apply the custom firewall rules. I can install some customized application and I can store the data as well. From here, it is my responsibility to protect it, to configure it securely. Who is responsible for installing the patches in the infrastructure as a service model? Customer. Clear up to this?
Yes.
Okay. Platform as a service. In platform as a service, as a customer, I'll be having platform level access to the platform. But underlying operating system, physical hardware, and the physical security, everything will be taken care by the CSP. So as a customer, I'm having only the platform level access to the platform where I'm going to develop my code, where I'm going to run my applications. Here, when they're talking about any question talking about reducing the cost, any question talking about an organization who develops an application and they want to adapt to the cloud, which service model is best? Whenever you see any question related to development, right, writing code and all, it is platform as a service. The answer is PaaS.
Okay.
Software as a service. As a customer, I'm going to access the software as a service through the browser, like thin web clients like browser, and I'm going to access it and I'm going to pay for it. Most probably the payment will be based on the number of users or number of users who is using the software. Based on that, we're gonna do the billing. On all these 3 service models, we rely on the contract for everything. But in which service model we fully rely on the contract? We fully rely on the CSP, software as a service, because we don't have access to any underlying architecture or infrastructure or operating system. Only we are consuming the software which is as a service provided to the customer using the browser. Do we have any control on the backend, like where they're storing our data, how much backups they are doing, what type of encryption they are doing? Everything we get the assurance based on what? contract. Clear?
Yes.
Any question talking about in which of the service model we fully, in all the three service model, we rely on the contract, but in this particular SaaS, we fully 100% rely on the CSP and everything is based on the contract. Because as a SaaS, we have very less control. Only we have the customer side control over the SaaS platform, SaaS service, SaaS software. Like this, they can test you in the exam related to the service model. Then you know about the deployment model. What are the deployment models we have, Gagan? Any idea? Could you please tell me?
Yeah, private, we have public, we have community, then we have hybrid.
Okay, hybrid. Public cloud deployment model. You know what is public cloud deployment model? Example, AWS, Azure, and then GCP and all. A third party, in my case, when I say a third party, he is the CSP who builds, maintain, and manage the data center for us. And he exposes the services. As a customer, based on my requirement, I am going to consume the service. There are a lot of advantages when we plan and when we go for the public cloud. What are some of the advantages we have? Because here we are not investing anything upfront, right? We are converting the capex to opex. One more small information in exam, any question talking about what is the main driver for adapting or migrating to the cloud for any organization is capex to opex. Remember this. There can be 4 options like scalability, collaboration, and all these things, but there will be one option which is capex to opex. Please select that. Okay. If any question in the exam talking about what is the main key driver for any organization adapting or migrating to the cloud, in the 4 options, there will be one option capex to opex. Please select that. That's the right answer. Right. See, everything is from ISC square to point of view. You have to answer. I'm sure that you're aware about it, right? During the training as well, I told you. Everything yes. From the ISC square to perspective. What answer they're expecting, we have to answer that. We can argue, right? Collaboration is there, and then we have security is there. That's all secondary. They're telling primary is this one. So you have to answer this. Now, in the public cloud deployment model, we have many advantages, right? Very easy to set up, less time consuming, converting the capex to opex, but there are many concerns as well. Public cloud, it's a multi-tenant environment. Multi-tenancy is a concern. I cannot apply the same governance in the public cloud. I have to check whether the particular type of data can be migrated or moved to the public cloud because of certain type of regulations. All these things are certain concerns when we adopt the public cloud. Private cloud. Certain organization cannot adapt or migrate to the public cloud. So at that time, what they will do is they will build their own cloud. For example, ABC Private Limited, they are handling certain type of data, or they are handling government related R&D data. So these type of data, these type of regulations does not allow this ABC to adapt to the public cloud because it's a multi-tenant environment. So what ABC is doing is they are building their own cloud, private cloud, and only the employees of the ABC based on the roles, they're going to provide the access to the employees to the public private cloud. This particular private cloud is solely built and managed for the organization ABC. Now, there are many advantages and there are many concerns here as well. One of the main concern in private cloud is this particular organization is going to invest upfront to build the private data center, private cloud. So to reap the return on investment, it will take some years for them. But in the public cloud, immediately you can see the return on investment. Now in the private cloud, when I go for the private cloud, this underlying resources and the hardware and the servers will not be shared with any other tenant. Only it will be used by this organization ABC. Now here, there are 2 types, right, for your information. One is in-house private cloud and other one is outsourced private cloud. In-sourced or in-house means the ABC itself will build the private cloud for them. But now they don't want to build. They don't have the ability. They don't have the people and everything to support them. So what they're doing is they're asking a third party, okay, you build a private cloud for us in your data center, but you segment it physically so that this will not be shared with anybody, right? And only this will be accessed by the ABC. So they're outsourcing it to a third party. On behalf of this organization, they're going to build and maintain the private cloud for them, but only it will be used by the employees of the ABC. That is outsourced. Right. There are many based on the requirements, they either go for insourced or outsourced. Now, there are many advantages. Concern is cost, but there are advantages. Here, I have the full control over the environment. I have the full visibility about my location of the data. I can apply my own governance policies and procedure because I have the full control over this environment. That is private cloud. Community cloud, it is built for a specific community. For example, ABC is an organization in the training industry. Now ABC wants to build a private cloud, but they don't have the budget to go for that. What they did was they have a tie-up with NIIT, they have a tie-up with IIST, and all these organizations jointly build a cloud, and the employees from this organization is going to use this cloud. This can be called as a community cloud, which is built for the training industry. Either this particular community cloud can be built, managed, and solely maintained by one of the organization in the community, or it can be managed combinedly by these three organizations. That is what we call it as a community cloud. Example, Sony, PlayStation cloud. Example, Indian banking cloud, community cloud. And then hybrid cloud. Okay, in the exam, there is a question talking about a particular organization has certain type of regulations. It does not allow that particular cloud to migrate to the public cloud, but they are hesitating, or they're not having the enough budget to build up a private cloud, something like that. So what is the best solution, or what is the best option for them? If they don't have the budget, if they cannot able to move to the public cloud because of the multi-tenant environment, all this kind of a concern is, at least they can go for the community cloud because they have the trust relationship between these three organizations. Based on the contract within them, they can adapt the community cloud. Like this, there can be a question. If there is a question, this is the answer. And then hybrid cloud. I'm sure that you are aware about what is hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is combining any two forms of the cloud. Any two forms of the cloud. Most common form is public plus private cloud. So I have an on-prem, and I have a public cloud. If I'm syncing two forms of the cloud, if I'm connecting two forms of the cloud, that we can call it as a hybrid cloud. Here again, there are some concerns because on-prem applications have to communicate with this public application, public cloud applications. So that should be interoperability. There is a model which is communicating with environment 1 and environment 2. So that should be interoperability to do that. So that's one of the concern. And then portability. So I have an application which is running here on-prem. If I want to move it to the cloud, I should do a lift and shift kind of approach. I can go for container for that because I can very easily take up the container, run it on any public cloud platform. So that is portability. So when we go for this approach, we always have to look into the portability and interoperability. And then there is one term which is used in hybrid cloud. I'm sure that you're aware about it. That is cloud bursting. What is it? Any idea? Remember, we discussed about it.
Cloud bursting, majorly in the hybrid cloud, which we use for the load balancing, right?
Perfect. For example, if any question in the exam talking about what is the concept of balancing the load between two forms of the cloud, in this they'll try to confuse you with the load balancer, blah 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 stuff, but one of the option will be cloud bursting. So you have to select this option, cloud bursting. Okay, one kind of a scenario based question related to this will be there. Okay, they will ask you a scenario. For example, a particular organization wants to adapt and migrate to the cloud. They have a development environment. They want to create a test environment in the cloud, in the public cloud. They want to reduce the cost. They want to have the full control over the environment. They have to apply the custom configurations. All these things like this, they will ask you in the scenario. You have to read the question, highlight the keywords. In the exam, they'll give you one paper, okay, and one pen in the exam center. Make use of it. Whenever you read a big scenario based question, okay, try to read the question 2 times or 3 times. See the highlighted keywords. Write it down in the paper and just check based on this highlighted keywords, what could be the answer. Based on this, I would say they're talking about the cost, they're talking about the control, they're talking about the custom configuration. I will go for public infrastructure as a service. Clear? Like this, you have to select. Kind of a scenario based question they can ask you from this. There, now up to this, it's clear.
Yes.
One more thing, very, very important for the exam is this one. I don't know whether you memorized it or not. Have you memorized the cloud computing roles?
I can only find couple of like cloud auditor, cloud broker.
No. Wait.
Because
I told you to memorize one more thing, right? You forgot different roles.
Yeah.
Do you have access to the OneDrive?
Which one? Yesterday that you sent me?
That is a book, right?
Yeah,
Just
I
give me a minute.
downloaded.
Just give me a minute. Yeah. Let me share one more link with you. Let me share it in the Zoom chat so that you can access it. I'm sure that you will already have access, but let me share it again as well. Okay, try to access it. Okay, in this, you can see the picture flashcards. Okay, picture flashcards.
Just a second, it's opening.
Yeah, no problem.
This is additional.
Yeah, additional items, right? In that, you can see the picture flashcards.
Yes.
I'll tell you what type of questions you'll get. See, in the cloud computing roles, right? We discussed it from based on two standards. One is NIST, Special Publication 500-292. We have the 5 roles: cloud service provider, cloud service auditor, cloud service customer, cloud service carrier, and then cloud service broker. Correct? Provider is the one who provides the service. Customer is the one based on the requirement they'll consume the service. And inside the customer might be ABC is a customer to AWS. Inside the ABC organization, the employees who's making use of the cloud services can be called as a cloud service users. And cloud service carrier is the intermediary who carries the cloud data between the customer and the provider, and vice versa. Cloud service auditor is a third party who is going to audit the cloud service provider environment, and he is going to prepare the reports based on that, which will be provided to the CSP. CSP will share it with the customer. Cloud service broker is the intermediary role between the provider and the customer. He will take the customized requirement from the customers, and based on the requirement, he is going to provide the customized service. And he's going to take care of the billing and everything. He'll be having tie-ups with multiple CSPs. That is a broker role. This is okay. Good. But ISO IEC 17789, we have 3 roles: cloud service provider, cloud service partner, cloud service customer. This is called as a partner. From this only you'll be getting the question.
From ISO or what?
ISO IEC 17789. From this only you'll be getting the questions. Provider.
So we'll be getting from ISO one, right?
Yes.
Not from the list.
Not probably in this, you will not be getting. On question might be later the broker will get, but from this only they're testing it right now. I had it from the team. ISO IEC 17789, very important for the exam. Don't skip it. Cloud service provider, CSN stands for partner and the customer. Very easy, don't think, but here what you have to do is go to the slide. Okay. And you can see here, cloud service partner, cloud service customer, cloud service provider. What are the different roles? And here, if you open this one, this picture, cloud service provider activities. From this, you will be getting a question. Under the cloud service provider, it is a main role. But under the main role, we have the sub roles. CSP, AWS is a CSP. But inside the data center of AWS, we might have many different people in different roles who will be working. Cloud service operation manager, what are the functions they're going to perform? Cloud service deployment manager, what are the functions they're going to perform? From this only you'll be getting the questions.
Okay.
Very, very important. They'll be testing you not only from the provider. You have to know from what comes under customer, what comes under partner. Inside the partner only we have the broker and then the auditor and the cloud service developer. And what activities they perform. Please refer the additional items. There is 3 picture flashcards. In the picture flashcards, point by point, we have given like this. Okay, point by point. If you just go here, you can see.
Okay.
Under the cloud service customer, cloud service user uses the cloud service. How they're gonna test you is, nowadays, you are getting a drag and drop type of question for this particular cloud computing rules. Drag and drop type of questions, right? There are 3 sets of question sets. Okay, we really don't know which question set will be there for you. So if you're not getting the drag and drop question also, you'll be getting 4 to 5 questions related to the roles. They will ask you, a person who develops or who prepares the systems, what is that role is called? 4 options: cloud service operations manager. Like this, they'll test you. So very important, Gagan, you have to memorize this cloud service customer. Under that, what are the sub roles and what functions they are going to perform? Same thing for provider, same thing for partner. If you get the drag and drop question, you will get 5 questions like this. Okay, 5 questions.
Yeah, 5 options.
Yeah, under the drag and drop, they'll give you prepare cloud systems, prepare audit reports, something like that. They'll give you one liner and there will be 5 options. You have to drag and drop the correct one. For prepare systems, cloud service, drag and drop it here like this, drag and drop. 5 questions, 5 options. Okay. Clear how the drag and drop will be there. 5 questions. You have to select the correct option here. The problem here is you answered 3 questions correct, 2 questions wrong. Everything is wrong. Got it right.
Yeah.
So one of the toughest questions. Now I heard that there are 2 sets of drag and drop questions you are getting. One is related to this one. Other one is from domain 6. Data protection laws. So this should be clear. If you know this roles crystal clear, I'm sure that 100% you can get everything correct. But small or some memorization is there. I'm sure that you have not memorized it, right?
Yeah, I haven't looked at it because I was not having this slides.
No problem. Just now focus on that. Don't skip it. Very important for the exam.
Yeah.
This one. Okay. You will be getting a drag and drop type of questions, otherwise role related question, 4 to 5 questions from this particular topic. Don't skip it. It's very important. Now, after this, in the domain 1, definition, characteristic, service model, and the deployment model. And then we discussed about the cloud computing roles. We have the most important thing is how to evaluate a cloud service provider. Other topics in the domain 1, like in infrastructure as a service, what are the security concerns? In platform as a service, what are the security concerns? In software as a service, what are the security concerns? You will not be getting a lot of questions from that, but how to evaluate a cloud service provider. And then the most important thing is threats to cloud computing. From this, you'll be getting a question in the domain 1. Have you gone through any material or anything, any idea about it we discussed in the class?
Yeah,
threats to cloud computing.
Threats to cloud computing, the available thing in CCSP dummies, I've read it.
Okay, that is good. See, in the threats to cloud computing, whenever an organization or any company which adapts or migrates to the cloud, there are a lot of threats, right? So actually there is an organization called the CSA, Cloud Security Alliance. The Cloud Security Alliance, They're going to conduct a survey among the industry professionals every 4 to 3 years once. And they're going to prepare a document from the survey result and they publish it to the public. From that document only, they have come up with the threats to cloud computing. So you have an idea about some of the threats which is very important for the exam. One of them is called as insufficient due diligence. Okay, insufficient due diligence. In the exam, any question talking about what is one of the primary threat for any organization migrating or adapting to the cloud, and there are 4 options, means one of the options will be surely insufficient due diligence. That is the answer you have to select. Okay, that is what. Yeah, I'll tell you. Tell me, please go ahead.
What if there would be a written data breaches, data misconfiguration settings of cloud? So we need to select the insufficient due diligence.
Yes, I'll tell you why. See, under the insufficient due diligence, everything will be covered. What is insufficient due diligence? For example, if there is a organization on-prem, if they want to adapt or migrate to the cloud, there are a lot of back-end works they have to do. True or not? First, they have to see what is their business goals and objective, why they want to adapt to the cloud, what is the problem they're trying to solve by migrating and adapting to the cloud. And they have to come up with the cloud governance. They have to assess the cloud service provider. They have to verify the certifications. They have to provide the proper training to the employees who are going to adapt or work on the cloud. Everything comes under due diligence or not?
Yes.
If they are not doing proper insufficient due diligence, it can map to data breach, because data breach is the one of the most reason for data breaches, misconfiguration happening on the customer side. One of the reason for data loss, 99.9% attacks related to the CSP will be less because they started maturing. I'm not saying attacks will not happen, but chances is only 1%. But 99% of the attacks happens because of the customer side misconfiguration, lack of cloud security architecture, lack of cloud security governance, misconfigurations. Everything is mapping back to what? There is no strategic approach to adapting or migrating to the cloud, which comes under insufficient due diligence. Now, clear, Gagan, why I'm going for that?
Okay. So when the question talks about specifically when customer is migrating to cloud, then this answer would be the major one, right?
Yes, migrating or adapting to the cloud. They'll ask you what is the primary threat for an on-prem or for an organization migrating or adapting to the cloud from the on-prem to the cloud. Because on-prem might be an isolated environment, cloud might be a multi-tenant environment, concern is there, shared concern is there. All these things is mapping back to insufficient due diligence. Before migrating or adapting to the cloud, you have to perform certain tasks which we discussed in how to evaluate a CSP. See, if you go for CSSP, you will be discussing about due care and due diligence. Okay. I'll take this first character from D and C. I'll call this as do correct. This and this, I'll call it as do detect. Do detect is called as an act of investigation. Conducting a penetration testing is a due diligence. By checking the report, you take some necessary corrective actions to fix that vulnerability. That is due care. Got it now, the difference? So before adapting to the cloud, before migrating to the cloud, you have to perform the proper due diligence. You have to check what type of data I'm going to move to the cloud, what type of security controls is implemented on the CSP environment, what type of security configurations I can do in the cloud, who are the employees who's going to access my cloud, whether they are all put into training or not, they are aware about the security posture of the cloud or not. Everything comes under due diligence. If not, it comes under insufficient due diligence. That is why I go for the answer. Primary threat is always insufficient due diligence.
Okay.
Now clear, right?
Yes.
After that only, we have the data breach. Have an idea about data breach. What is data breach? You put your data into the cloud storage. Because of some misconfigurations, you mistakenly expose this data to the public internet. Because of that, attacker can have access the data, and then he can able to steal or able to exfiltrate the data. That is data breach.
Yes.
That is data breach. And then what is data loss? data loss is happening either on the CSP side because of a drive failure, something like that, or on the customer side mistakenly deleting the data without having proper backups. That is a data loss, right? Attacks can happen like this: insufficient due diligence, data breach, and data loss. And then insufficient identity and access management. From this, you'll be getting a questions. Insufficient identity and access management is you can access this cloud platform either logging into the console. For logging into the console, you're using the username and password. Also, this can be accessed using the CLIs by using the tokens. Securing this password and securing this token is one of the key consideration. If not, it can lead into insufficient identity and access management, not enabling MFA for privileged users or root accounts, not setting up the password policy, not implementing the password rotation policy, not securing the token, because always we focus on securing the cloud. But what is the devices which is accessing the cloud environment using the CLI? The tokens will be stored locally on this laptop, on this device. So securing the client is also one of the consideration. If an attacker have access to this, they can able to access the token and they can assume this role and they can access the services. So enabling proper control should be there. All from this, you will be getting the questions. And also for reference, I don't know whether I shared it with you or not. If not today, I'll share it with you. Just give me 1 minute, please. Have you gone through the document called as Top Threats to Cloud Computing, the AG-REGIS 11?
No.
Okay. Before the exam, just go through this document, right? It is not mandatory, but it will give you a good idea. See, if you just scroll up, this I have downloaded from Cloud Security Alliance. From this only, you'll be getting the questions. Okay, from this only.
And the name of the document is?
The AG-REGIS 11.
This is for the threat to cloud.
Yes,
right?
threats to cloud computing. You have to have an idea, but I'm just asking you to refer this document so that you get some more visibility about it, right? It's good only. See, they're talking about first data breach. They'll give you what is data breach. Data breach can be occur because of the vulnerabilities or inadequate security practices. And what is going to be the business impact? That depends upon what type of data got breached, right? Because not all the data are at the same level. We classify and categorize the data based on the sensitiveness of the data. Based on that, the business impact will vary. And then key takeaways, what are some of the solutions to prevent and protect against data breaches? And then if I just scroll down, you can see some more examples which happened in the real time. Like this, for every threat they have given here. Misconfigurations and inadequate change control. As I told you, most of the attacks happens in the cloud because of the misconfigurations and not having proper change control. We have to control the way how we implement the changes. Changes should be installed in a systematic way, so the changes does not introduce any vulnerabilities. So we have to have a proper change control. They're talking about inadequate change control, right? So if you are interested, read this document. It's not mandatory.
What is the name of the document?
The AG-REGIS 11, right? You can just go to Google and search like this, the AG-REGIS 11. AG-REGIS, REGIOS 11. Once you search like this, the CSA result, they're going to ask you to do the registration, and you can download it. It's a very good document. Lack of cloud security architecture and strategy. See, any organization adapting or migrating to the cloud, they should take a systematic way of approaching to the cloud, right? It's not something like you take one application and there is a requirement, put it into the cloud. You move that data whenever there is a requirement, move it into the cloud and go. It's not going to work out in the long run. You'll not have a good control. You'll not have a visibility. You'll not complain, and everything like this will happen. So you should have a proper cloud security architecture, right? And then strategy. Strategy is what? It is a roadmap to achieve something. So properly, you should have a cloud security architecture and strategy for any organization adapts or migrates to the cloud. Otherwise, it can lead into different types of vulnerabilities. See, if you don't have a proper cloud security architecture and strategy, if you're just moving here and there the data and the application to the cloud, it looks something like a remote here and there. Remote data lying here and there in the cloud, remote application lying here and there. How you'll get the visibility, how you'll get the contextual information about that applications, how you can secure that applications, nothing, right? Because you don't know what type of controls to implement, because you don't have any security architecture and strategy. So that is one of the issue. If you're not following this properly, it can lead into many threats. And then the next threat was, as I discussed with you, insufficient identity and access management. The keys through which we access the cloud environment, the passwords through which we log into the cloud console, that has to be protected, that has to be secured. Also, we perform the encryptions. We use the keys, access keys and the secret keys to access the cloud environment. That should be proper way to manage it, store it securely, revoke it whenever needed. If you're not having or following this systematic way of doing this, it can lead into this issue related to insufficient identity, credential, and key management. So how in the exam they'll test you is, they'll ask you like this. A particular person or particular user is storing the keys in the local laptop, which is used to access the cloud portal through CLI. What is one of the concern? What type of threats we have? And they'll be asking 4 options: insufficient identity and access management, because he's not securing the keys in the laptop. If anybody have access to the keys, they can access the cloud platform. Like this, they cannot test you. So in ISC square CCSP, they will not test you the concept like in the school and college terms and all. They used to test you, right? What is ISO? What? No. They make sure you understand the concept. They'll give you a question. They'll give you a scenario. They'll give you a requirement. You have to know the concept, and knowing the concept, you have to give them the solutions. Like this only in the exam questions will be there. Next issue, they're talking about their account hijacking. It happens, right? Because of phishing, right? Attackers can able to access the tokens in the user's laptop who is accessing the cloud. And by using that, they can take over the account. I can have access to your account. I can change the password and I can take over the account and use it for crypto mining and all. That comes under account hijacking. In a malicious, in an illegal way, taking or hijacking an account. Insider threat. It is one of the biggest concerns for any organization. It can happen either inside the customer organization as well as with the CSP organizations. Insider threat, right? An employee who's working working inside the organization, he's committing some sort of malicious activities. Because of that, it creates a negative impact to the organization. That is called as insider threat. Again, you have gone through all these things.
Yes, in
Okay.
CCSP Domain, it is written there, but I believe this
document
PDF
will be more good. That's why I wanted to
more
share.
detailed, more
Yeah.
detailed.
That is why I shared this document with you. Let me know if you're able to able to download. If not, let me know. I can share this document with you. Huh? Your mail
Is
ID.
it downloaded with you, or do I need to get it from Google?
No. I'll share it in your mail ID. That Gmail, right? I'll share after the session. Go through it before the exam. Okay. Insecure interfaces and APIs. In the cloud, everything, the service is exposed in the form of application programming interface. So if there is an insecure API, if there is a vulnerability in the API, we can create an impact on all the 3 elements of security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Have a basic idea about CAA for the exam. They might ask you the question related to the CAA as well. They will ask you a particular service which is being hosted on the cloud. The particular customer is not able to access the service which is hosted on the cloud servers. So what is the element of security which got impacted here? Availability. Yes. Like this, they can ask you. CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. There was one question related to this. And then insecure interfaces, how the CSP is exposing the services through which interface. Is it secure or it is insecure? Either it is through HTTP or HTTPS. What about the APIs? Is the APIs is secure, which is exposed by the CSPs? If not, it can lead into many different types of attack. That is one of the issues. Weak control plane. What does it Weak control plane. Any idea?
So that is what I want to ask you. I'm confused between control plane, management plane, and management console.
Don't confuse it. I'll tell you that is a different one. Don't bring that SDN concept here. When they say weak control plane, I know. That's why I asked you what is it. When I say weak control plane, the CSP is exposing the cloud management console to the customers, right?
Yes.
Inside that, they are providing a lot of security related features to the customers. If they are not providing that security related features to the customers, for example, I have a root account with which I have created the account with AWS. For that root account, they are not providing me any security solutions like MFA and all. That comes under weak control plane. The CSP is not providing the security related attributes or the features related to the service, or they are providing MFA, but they're charging $100 per month. Too costly. The customer cannot make use of that service. That also comes under weak control plane. For example, in AWS, some years before, they have launched a service called as AWS Config. Okay, AWS Config. At that time, it was pretty costly. Most of the customers will not be able to use that service. But now they make it very cheap and many people are adapting. Many customers are adapting that service. At that time, we can call that as a weak control plane. Now, Claire, what is weak control plane?
And just for my information, what is control plane?
Control plane is nothing. Control plane is something like the security controls which is exposed by the CSPs, which a customer should able to configure it to protect their resources on their side. That is what we call it as a control plane here. But in the SDN, control plane is different. Don't confuse it. It is different. But here they're talking about generally control plane. Clear
Okay.
now?
Okay.
Wait. If you just go here, like this, if you search, a weak cloud control plane refers to when a cloud service does not provide adequate or sufficient security controls to meet the security requirements of the customer. They're not providing the service, or the services which is provided to them, it's too costly. That is weak control plane. Now it's clear, Gagan, now?
Yes. And for my information, what is management plane and data plane? I've read it somewhere. I've
No,
noted
that is
it.
SDN. Don't confuse. That is SDN. Right, with domain 3.
Okay. Okay.
That is different. This one is different.
Okay.
Control plane, when they talk about weak control plane, they're talking about the security controls provided by the CSP for the customers. For example, when I say one example for weak control plane is, for the root account, they are not providing me two-factor authentication, or they're providing the service is very costly. So as a customer, I'm not able to adapt it. So that comes under weak control plane. Because I have a security requirement, I have to enable MFA for privileged user account, but the CSP servers, they're not having that feature. That is weak control plane. Now clear?
Yes.
Because for some people, they'll try to confuse control plane with management data plane and SDN, and they'll get confused. That's why I ask you this question. What is weak control plane?
Yes. Okay.
Oh, it's clear, right?
Yeah.
Meta structure and apply structure failure. See, this one is not actually part of your CCSP. This is actually taken from CCSK. See, when we talk about cloud, we have logical models. Logical models. See, we have the infra. Okay, infrastructure. And top of it, we have the meta structure. And top of it, we have apply structure. And top of it, we have infrastructure, or vice versa as well, not a problem. So these are, we call it as a logical models of cloud computing. Infrastructure is where you have the physical servers and the physical devices which is mounted on the CSP data center, which we have to implement the physical security to protect it. That is infrastructure. Metastructure is a glue which ties the apply and infrastructure to the infra. We can say here, virtualization, orchestration will reside in this layer. We have a hardware, and top of it, we introduce the virtualization. By introducing the virtualization, we got the abstraction. And then we have the automation by using the cloud computing controller and a cloud controller to deliver it as a service to the customers. And top of it, we are installing the VMs, and inside that we are installing the applications, that is structure. And we store the data in the virtual storage, that is infrastructure. We have to implement the right level of security controls to protect each of the layers. But who is responsible for what? That is depends upon the service model. It's a very high level model, logical model. Here, they are talking about meta structure and appli structure failures. The applications which is hosted by the CSP can fail, can create some vulnerabilities, can have some vulnerabilities. Meta structure. What about the failure in the virtualization layer? What about the failure in the automation in the orchestration layer? It will create a failure in the overall cloud service to the customer. That's what they're talking about as one of the threat. Clear now?
Okay. So I believe it's CSP's responsibility to patch this meta structure and application.
Yes. In the public cloud, they are responsible. In the private cloud, customer, the organization which is maintaining and managing the private cloud is responsible for that. But any question talking about who is responsible for managing and maintaining and patching the or securing the virtualization stack, if they didn't mention private cloud, then answer is CSP, cloud service provider. Clear, Gagan now?
Yes.
Okay. 10th one, limited cloud usage visibility. This one, if you don't have a proper cloud governance, it can lead into unsanctioned app use, or using the sanctioned app itself, they're using it for other purpose apart from the business requirements. These all comes under here, limited cloud usage visibility. That is why every organization should have a strategic way of approaching to the cloud. Otherwise, it is one of the threat. The last one is abuse and nefarious use of cloud services. People exploiting the vulnerability in the cloud on the customer side. They take over their account, and using the account credentials they're spinning up multiple servers and using it for crypto mining and all. That all comes under abuse and nefarious of use of cloud services. Spinning up multiple VMs, and then using that VMs, they create an army of botnet, and from that they're trying to launch the DDoS attack. They're using the cloud to conduct some attacks. They're using the cloud services for nefarious purpose, which is against the acceptable use of cloud services by the CSP. That comes under abuse and nefarious use of cloud services. You know what is crypto mining, right?
Not exactly.
Crypto mining is taking over the account of our organization's cloud account, and we build up or we consume the resources, and using that resources we mine the cryptocurrency. We call it as a Bitcoin mining and all. That's what they're going to do, that crypto mining, cryptocurrency mining. And if they do that, they're going to consume the resources and you have to pay the bill for them because they hijacked your account. That we call it as mining. Mining for digital currency, crypto mining. Now clear? These are the top threats to cloud computing. This should be crystal clear for the exam. Absolutely, we'll be getting a question related to the threats to cloud computing. And always there is a question which talks about insufficient due diligence. Okay, if you don't perform proper due diligence, it can lead into many complications. One of them is vendor lock-in, and other one is vendor lockout. I'm sure that you know what is these things. Vendor lock-in is, I just blindly signed a contract with one of the CSP, and after 2 months of service, they're not providing the service as per the SLA. I may not able to migrate to another provider because I got a lock-in situation here based on the contract and other situations. That is vendor lock-in. Vendor lockout. I'm just doing a business with one of the newly startups cloud service provider, and then he is going out of business in a year. So after that, I have to see another CSP as a backup. I have to migrate to that CSP. That we call it as a vendor lockout, vendor going out of the business due to multiple reasons. That is why we need a proper due diligence. When we did the proper due diligence, we would have assessed everything and we would have selected the best CSP based on your requirement. and then we would have start signing the contract with them. Otherwise, it can lead into these kind of situations: vendor lock-in and vendor lockout. Clear now?
Yes.
Have you felt the domain one is good? So far, you have read it in the Dummy's book, right? So you can map everything, right?
Yes.
Very, very important for the exam. You can write evaluating a cloud service product. From this, you'll be getting a lot of questions. From the domain one, there's a last topic from which you'll be getting the questions. So here, when I talk about evaluating a cloud service provider, there are certain documents, there are certain certifications, there are certain audit reports, which we as a customer, we have to look. See, before adapting or before migrating to the cloud, as a customer, I have to get the visibility, I have to get the confidence, I have to get the assurance over the CSP environment. How can I get that? I cannot directly walk into the CSP data center and ask them to open the gates for me so that I can do the auditing or I can do the assessment myself. It is not going to work out because CSP is serving millions of customers. But there should be some way for the customers to get the visibility, confidence, and then the assurance. How they're going to get it? How they're going to get it? By checking some documents, by reviewing the certifications, by checking the audit reports. See, first thing is there are two documents. One is called as CAKE and other one is called as CSS CCM document. What is the use of CAKE? Any idea?
Yeah, we read in during the training, but it's not available in the book.
It is not available in the book, but in the exam they will ask you the question.
Yeah. Yes.
See, I'll tell you. See, previously and all, what happened was every customer is having certain type of doubts, certain type of queries, which they want to resolve against the particular cloud service provider. But what they would do is they'll send a mail to the CSP. CSP will separately respond back to the emails one by one. Problem is, the CSP is serving millions of customers. For every customer's queries, they have to respond it back separately. It's a big hectic one. So what Cloud Security Alliance did was, they just prepare a document called as CAKE, Consensus Assessment Initiative Questionnaire. If any question in the exam talking about what is the industry standard tool to assess the security controls of a CSP, it is CAKE document. The answer is CAKE, Consensus Assessment Initiative Questionnaire. So they have come up with 260 plus questions in this CAKE document. So what every CSP will do, CSP1 will pick this CAKE document, they will fill it up, there will be a question and the CSP will answer for it. See, the CAKE document will have 260 plus questions which a cloud customer would like to ask to the provider. All these things, it comes under different domains: personal security, human resource security, physical security, everything. Okay, like this, every CSP will take the CAKE document, they'll fill it up, they will either store it in their portal, which the customer can download. Otherwise, Cloud Security Alliance itself is maintaining a database called a STAR database. Okay, Security Trust Assurance Registry database. It is an open source free database where they can fill it and they can upload it here. CAKE document. As a customer, first I can review the CAKE document, which gives me the preliminary idea about, do you support information security? Yes, we implement security controls to protect the information. That's okay. This gives the preliminary idea for the customer by reviewing the CAKE document. But by checking the CSA CCM document, the CSA CCM document stands for Cloud Security Alliance Cloud Control Matrix. In this document, for every requirement, we'll try to map it with one of the control from one of the framework, or we'll try to map it with one of the certificate or audit report. Do you implement proper controls to protect the information system? Yes. CAKE, the answer is yes. But in the CSA CCM document, okay, do you protect this? Do you implement the security control to protect the information system? Yes. But what standard? ISO 27000 standard we implement. So every control, every requirement will be mapped with the control with the certificate with the audit report. That is what we call it as a CSA CCM document. By reviewing these two reports, two certifications, they will get a full visibility and idea about the security controls which is implemented and what type of controls they are implementing based on what standard. These are the two documents you have to know. They'll not ask you what comes inside this, but they'll ask you what is this document, what is that document. Very important. Just give me 1 minute, please. Okay, so these are the two documents which we have to refer. After this, ISO 27001 and ISO 27002. If you want to achieve the ISO certification 27001, you have to implement the control specified in the ISO 27002. These are all some of the certifications which I can review for information security management system, which I can ask from the cloud service provider, but this is not important for the exam. These two things. What is this, Gagan? Any idea? 27017 and 27018.
Sorry, I was on mute. So,
No problem, no problem, no problem.
So I believe one is on privacy or for cloud. 27,000, yes. Right? 18 one, right?
Yes, very, very important. Don't get confused because 100%, make a note of it, 100% will be getting a question related to this. See, they're going to ask you, what is the ISO standard? Or they can give you a drag and drop, putting the ISO standards, ask you to drag and drop like this as well. So very important to know about it. 27017 is the control, security controls related to the information security, which will be implemented by the CSP. 27017.
27,017. It's
yes. 27,018 is for the code of protection of PII information in the public cloud. As CSP is collecting the customer's PII information, how they're going to handle it. The CSP is providing the SaaS related service. Through that, you're entering the PII information, how they're going to process it by implementing the right level of privacy controls. That comes under ISO 27018.
Can you come again? Yeah.
ISO 27017 is for security controls related to the information security system. Okay, like this, you can check in AWS as well. There, ISO 27000 certification. It is related to the cloud specific information security controls. They have taken the base of 27002, added 7 extra controls, which is related to cloud specific to protect the information. And if you want to see the certifications, you can just download and see the certifications for any cloud provider services. Clear now?
So what is 27,017 is cloud security certification for information security in cloud.
Yes, yes.
And 18 is
protection of PII information. How they're going to handle your personal data, which is collected by the CSPs. Protection on personal data in the cloud. How they're going to handle it based on this ISO standard.
Both are cloud specific.
Yeah, cloud specific ISO standards and certifications. One is for protection of the PII information on how the CSP is going to handle your PII information. Other one is the information system specific security controls. 27,017. Absolutely, these two questions will be there. Now clear the difference?
Yes.
Don't confuse any question talking about information specific security controls, cloud specific controls. It is 27,017. Any question talking about handling or protecting the PII information in the cloud, it is
27,018.
Yeah, 27,018. Just give me a minute. Yeah. Now, after this, very important, right? This one comes in the exam. After this one is very important. ISO 15408. ISO 15408 is very important. Any idea what is it?
I've written it somewhere, but I'm struggling to get it.
No, man, you should not say, and we are having the exam.
Give me a minute. Give me a minute.
No, no problem, no problem. Take it. Huh?
I'm having the same book. Just give me a minute. This is the same book which I wrote when we during the September training.
September. Oh, last year, right?
Yeah, last year you gave the training to IBM, right?
Don't worry, man. Don't worry. I'll discuss, man. No worries, no worries. We'll discuss. We'll discuss. See.
Okay, I got it. One you're talking about? It's
ISO 15408.
okay. No, it's not there.
Okay, okay. No problem. Just we'll discuss. Just give me a minute. Okay, after this discussion, just give me 5 minutes, huh? Oh, because I have to order the food, huh? Otherwise,
Yeah.
they'll not deliver the food because I'm staying in right now in the outskirts of Bangalore, man. Right, it will take 1 hour for them to deliver the food.
Oh my God.
I am living near Chandapura to Anekal Road. That is the reason. Okay, now not now. Just give me after this discussion 5 minutes. I'll order the food in Swiggy. Okay, ISO 15408. This is very important, right? Don't skip this. Whatever I'm telling you, 100% important. You'll see in the exam for sure, right? From here, there will be question related to the cake and CSA CCM document, not this one. But ISO 27017, 27018, 100% question will be there. So you have to know what is it.
So cake will also come. Cake and CSA.
Yes, yes. I'll show you some sample questions. Don't worry. After this session, I'll show you some sample questions. We'll work out the questions as well. Okay, some questions. ISO 15408. It stands for common criteria. Okay, common criteria. It is a gold standard international certification for certifying and identifying the secure IT products. Okay. Here inside the ISO 15408, we have some different roles. Rather than saying the roles, we have some different entities, we can say. One is PP, or I would say different components. Components is the right word. PP. And then we have ST. And then let me do one thing. Let me clear it out. ISO 15408, it is called as common criteria. We have many components. One of them is PP, ST, and target of evaluation. PP stands for protection profile. ST stands for security target. TOE stands for target of evaluation. Okay, very, very important for the exam. ISO 15408 is a gold standard certifications for identifying the secure IT products. Protection profile means ISO has created a standard profile for every devices. For example, for firewall, these are the basic profile security controls. For example, for a UTM device, these are the basic profile. Like this, they have created the profile. For example, there is an organization which manufacture the firewall, but they want to sell this firewall to a cloud service provider or to a government organization where they look for the certification. So what this vendor is doing is, this vendor, after creating the firewall, he prepares a documentation. In this documentation, he specifies what are the security features and functionality this firewall possesses. He captures everything into this document. Both these things are sent to a certified laboratory. That certified laboratory will do the testing based on the profile for firewall, and based on the thoroughness of the testing, they're going to rate the product. This firewall, which is brought to the certified laboratory for testing, is called as target of evaluation, because this is a product which is going to get evaluated. This document, which we have captured all the security features in the firewall, this is called as a security target. A documentation from the vendor which specifies the functionality and the security features of the product to be tested. The certified laboratory will test the product based on the profile, and based on the thoroughness of the testing, they're going to rate the product. What is important here is, I'm sure that if you open the domain 1 in your CCSP for dummies, have you seen this one like evaluation assurance level 1 to evaluation assurance level 7? Have you seen something like that?
It is not in I think in dummies.
Dummies is not there. It will be there, man, right? Let me check. Huh? It's important topic, right? Just give me a minute. Let me check.
Yeah, I have. We have it in
You have, right?
criteria evaluation 1 to 7. Yes.
Very important, man. Very important. That comes in the exam. Okay, very important. So what you have to do is you have to memorize what is the evaluation assurance level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How the questions in the exam will be: a product has been tested under ISO 15004, right, and rated for evaluation assurance level 5. What is it called? There will be 4 options. You have to select structurally tested, methodically tested, fully tested, like that. So that is one memorization you have to do. Please highlight it in your dummies book so that you can memorize it. So far, what are the things you have to memorize? Cloud computing roles, and then evaluation assurance level 1 to 7, right? From this, you'll be getting a question.
Yes.
So this one is very important. They'll test you from this as well, one question from the components, and surely 100% there'll be a question. A product has been tested and rated for evaluation assurance level 6 under ISO 15004 rate. What is it called? There will be 4 options. You have to select the right one for what is AL6. There is no other way. You have to memorize this to clear the exam. Okay, so don't skip these 2 things. Many participants, what they'll do, let us skip this and try to answer other questions. Don't do that, right? 100% this will be there. We know that. So focus and memorize it, right? Don't skip that part.
Yes.
So after that ISO 15004, right, we have FIPS 140-2.
Just a second. I have a question.
Yeah.
So, are they also going to ask me, for example, we sent a firewall to be tested by this ISO 408. So firewall is called TOE, right? Target of evaluation, and ST means
Security target is a document. They'll not ask you this one, right? They'll ask you a high level idea about it, but I'm just explaining a little bit depth. Security target is a document which is prepared by the vendor, which captures all the functionality and security features of the device. And they'll give both the things to the certified laboratory. They'll test it based on the profile. Profile is created by ISO for every product.
okay.
Right. So I'm manufacturing a firewall. I'm telling that these are all the security features. These are all the features, functionality, and everything. I captured everything in a document, like a help option, help menu, right?
Manuals, fines, right?
Yeah, manuals. Yeah, you can say manuals. But they'll capture everything. They'll provide both the thing. This product which is tested is called as TOE. This is called as ST, the document. Even in India, we have, man, right? If you want to check, we have many testing centers, right? And one of them is based in Kolkata. In India, the first one you can see common criteria, India government. You can see what are all the products which tested under ISO 15004 rate before purchasing the product. Right? A lot of vendors were certified under different ratings. Product certified, you can check it. It's not needed, just to give you an idea. Okay. Gagan, am I audible, clear, right? Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay, sorry. Next thing I would like to check is FIPS 140-2, which stands for Federal Information Processing Standard. What is it? See, as a customer, I'm going to make use of the KMS service, which is provided by the CSP. I'm going to make use of the cloud-based HSM service. I want to make sure these are all certified under certain standard. So I go for FIPS 140-2 verification. So whenever I go and access HSM service, I make sure they are FIPS 140-2 compliant. It is a NIST-based standard for related to certifying and assessing the cryptographic modules and the cryptographic devices. That is FIPS 140-2. Now, in the exam, what is the cryptographic standard by NIST which is used to assess and certify the cryptographic devices and modules? There will be 4 options, okay? One is FIPS 140-2, other one is some other option, another one is FIPS 140-3. Okay, you have to select this one. It is not in your book. In your book, they mentioned FIPS 140-3. Still, it is not fully mandated and rolled out. But now they're testing like this. Don't go for this one. This is the latest one.
Okay.
If in the question in the exam, if it is not there and only FIPS 140-2 is there, go for it.
Okay.
If both the things are there, go for the latest one. If FIPS 140-2 is not there, only FIPS 140-3 is there, man, go for it. Don't get confused in the exam. Okay, if two option is there, which one to go? Go for this.
Okay.
I'm clear right now. And this
Yes.
is something which is related to certifying the cryptographic model. This is a NIST-based standard and certification. We have level 1 to level 4. Level 1, it should support the basic approved cryptographic algorithm. For example, I have a MacBook. That MacBook, I can implement AES encryption. The board and the chipset is supporting that. That we can say level 1. For example, I'm telling. Because AES is the NIST approved algorithm. So that is level 1. Level 2, and top of level 1, I have to also that should there should be some way or evidence of tampering. Somebody tampers with the cryptographic model, there should be some evidence for it. That is level 2. Level 3, if somebody tries to tamper, it is not only going to show the evidence of tampering, it is going to protect itself by deleting all the data inside it, which is in the clear text. Level 4, not only going to protect against physical attacks and lots kind of thing, environmental attacks. Environmental attacks means there is a HSM device which is connected to a network, which is connected to the power source. By doing some attacks to the power, changing the variation in the power, making it something work in a different way, fault tolerant, making it fault, and then trying to access the HSM device. Like this, we call it as an environmental attack. Do you know what is side channel attack?
Side channel, I've read it.
This question comes in the exam. It's not in the book. CCSP Domain's book, it is not the official book, it is there, but side channel attack will be there. What is side channel attack means? There is a system, okay, which is processing some sort of data, encryption, decryption, something like that. It is doing some sort of cryptographic operations. Every device will emit some signal.
Yes.
By capturing the signal, they will try to get the keys out of it, the sensitive information out of it. This we call it as a side channel attack, because we sit side to that system which is doing the processing, capture the signals, and we do the attack. That is called a side channel attack. What is cold boot attack? Cold boot attack is a part of side channel attack. This question is there. Cold boot attack. Cold boot attack means, for example, sensitive information will be stored in the running memory, RAM. So what they'll do is they will immediately restart or shut down and immediately restart the system with some sort of boot disk. And they'll try to dump the content of the memory. Some leftover remnants in the content of the memory. That we call it as a cold boot attack.
Okay.
It's not in the book, right?
So questions will come, right?
Yes, man. That is why most of the people failing in CCSP and CSSP, because they'll test you like anything. In computer security, a cold boot attack is a type of side channel attack in which attacker with physical access to computer performs a memory dump of a computer's random by performing hard reset of the target machine. As I told you, they'll reset the machine, dump a bootable disk, try to dump the content of the memory. So in the exam, they'll test you. In a multi-tenant environment, if we go for infrastructure as a services, what is one of the concerns, something like that, they'll ask you 4 options. You have to go for the cold boot attack. Why? Because the CSP, if they have access, the CSP admin, if they are having access to the physical server, they can restart the system, right? And they can able to dump the content of the memory, and they can able to have the keys which is stored in them. It's possible, right? That is one of the concern. Cold boot attack is the answer. This question, remember what is cold boot attack? Sure, it will come in the exam, man. Okay. See, out of the books, you'll be getting a lot of questions. Cold boot attack is a part of the side channel attack. Now, I hope it's clear right now. You'll answer it, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, ISO 27017 cake document, CSS CCM document 27018, 1500408, FIPS 140-2, everything is good. Apart from this, as a customer, I would like to review the audit reports, right? You're saying that, okay, you're following the standards. I have implemented the security controls. How I'll get the assurance? I need to check the audit reports because I trust the third party auditor from Deloitte KPMG who does the audit on the CSP environment, prepares the certification and report. I trust them, so I trust the report. So by reviewing the audit reports, a customer will get the confirmation and the assurance. But we are not going to discuss audit reports in the domain 1. It comes under domain 6. There are 3 types of report: SOC 1, SOC 2, and SOC 3, right? In which scenarios I have to go for SOC 1, in which scenarios I go to for SOC 2, and SOC 3 will discuss in the domain 6.
Okay.
But these are all the documents which I check and assess for evaluating the cloud service product. Clear now up to this?
Yes.
So domain 1 important topic is definition, characteristic of cloud computing, and then service model, deployment model, cloud computing roles, threats to cloud computing, and then how to evaluate a cloud service product. What are the documents you have to check? This is very important for the exam. Now let's do one thing. Let me open some questions, Etta. Let's see. In the domain 1, how well you are able to answer the question, so that gives me the visibility as well. Just give me a minute. Let me stop the share. So how confident do you right now you're in domain 1? Pretty confident?
Yeah, think so.
Okay, good. No. Certain things you have to focus in the domain 1, which is cloud computing roles. And then you have to focus on the evaluation assurance level 1 to 7. That will come in the exam. That only you have to focus right now.
And these level 4 of FIPS.
Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, that also you have to have an idea. FIPS 140-2. That is also one thing which you have to check. Just give me 1 minute, please. Okay, let's do some question. Let me share the screen with you. Before that, just give me 1 minute. I'll just order the food. Just give me 1 minute, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we can continue. So can you see the question? Second one. Have you
Yeah.
already worked out these questions?
Uh, that is what I've post. See, I don't have these questions banked.
Okay, no problem. I'll share it with you. No worries, no worries. Can you see this question? What is the
Yes.
definition of cloud computing according to NIST? Like this, they'll test you. Okay,
Okay.
they'll like this, they'll test you.
Okay.
And you can see 4 options. Everything looks similar, right? Unless and until if you don't know the exact definition, how are you going to answer for this?
Yes.
That is the reason. See, cloud computing is a model for enabling ubiquitous, yes, convenient on-demand network access to a shared pool, correct, of configurable computing resource that can be rapidly provisioned and released with a minimal management effort or service provider interaction. So this is the actual definition I know, but you can see how they change it to dedicated.
Yeah.
Shared pool that can be rapidly provisioned and released by service provider. Is the service provider is going to do that? No. With the minimal effort from this. Like this, they'll test you, man. In the exam, many participants tell me, Melvin, I got confused when I see this question and answer. You should not get confused. Okay? You should not get confused. So you have to understand the exact definition. Now it's clear what question will come. Okay, next one. Can you see the third one? What is the answer?
It's like the main key driver for cloud computing. It's shifting capex to opex.
Perfect. Scalability is also good. Elasticity is also good. Collaboration. But the first main key driver is this one. Next.
Next
According
is
to,
one. Yeah.
what is the answer? Fourth one.
Cloud computing, a cloud auditor will be considered as auditor is considered as a cloud service partner.
Perfect. This one you are very easily able to answer this. An organization is planning to move some of its function to the cloud, but does not have the resources and skills to operate the cloud environment. The organization wants to adapt or migrate to the cloud, but they don't have enough skills and people to operate the cloud environment. It will rely on a third party to do so. But it wants to keep control of its governance. What technology implementation is best suited for the employee, for the company? It's very easy, right?
Uh,
It's not CSP. With the CSP, they provide the services
yes.
from the service catalog. They're not going to do some sort of customization. Their customer will not in a position to dictate the technology governance and all. So what is the answer?
That's what I'm figuring out. So it could be managed service provider.
Perfect. Perfect. It's not in the book, but like this, they'll test you, man. Write the questions.
I was helping. I was sorting answer could be around broker because broker will help us to implement the
Yes.
client solution if they don't have a skills, right?
Yes. But here we have no options for broker. So that's
Yes.
why we go for the MSP. Both the options is there. You can go for cloud service broker because cloud service broker is also kind of a MSP only. They provide the service.
Yes.
This one after domain 6 we can discuss. This one is a domain 6 questions. This one. Yeah, this one 11th one.
So B is the consent assessment initiative question, right?
Perfect. See, whatever we discussed in ISC square CCSP, only that option you have to select. Did we discuss anything like cloud assessment questionnaire? No. Did we discuss anything like assessment checklist? No. No. We only discussed about cake. They're asking about the industry standard tool to assess the overall security capabilities of a cloud provider. The answer is cake. I'm sure that now, Gagan, you are getting the visibility about how the questions will be there in the exam.
Yes.
This is not there. Once we'll discuss this later. These are all domain 2 questions. Domain 3 questions. Domain 4 questions. Domain 3. Which of the following best describes a cloud carrier?
data across the network. No, the person of entities.
See, cloud carrier is a intermediary
I
who actually
believe
provides the connectivity and transport of transport of data between the cloud providers and consumer. Here they're talking about a person or entity responsible for making a cloud service. It is CSP. It is not the carrier. The person or entity responsible for transporting data across the internet. No, they have to transport between the provider and the consumer. The person or entity responsible for keeping clouds, that is CSP. So the right answer is the A1. Clear, Gagan, now?
Okay, so A1 is the intermediate chatha who provides connectivity and transport of cloud provider and customer. Okay.
So how they're confusing, huh? These
Yeah.
are exact exam questions. Okay, this one's. What is the Cloud Security Alliance Cloud Control Matrix? 4 options. Cloud Control Matrix, CSS CCM.
It's a control mapping to the standard international standard of control which is implemented by the client. So what is the inventive clauses control that are arranged in a separate security domain? Inventive clouds that are arranged in a hierarchy of security domain. The setup of I believe C, an inventory of cloud service security.
Perfect. It is not a hierarchy of security domains. It is a separate domains. Application interface security, business continuity, and disaster recovery. Like this, under separate domains, we specify the requirements for that the control is mapped for a particular certification. So C is the right answer.
But this is not a answers I got in book.
No. This answers is not these questions, and these answers were not there, man. Right? This is actually exam question which I taken it from.
So how do you take these? Someone give the exam and told you that these are the questions over there, right? Some of your students.
Yes. And also from the back end, some resources we used to get some questions, like whenever the participants are taking the exam, like every week 5 or 6 or 10 participants, they will tell us the output, right? They'll tell us the feedback, like this questions was there, like this the same questions was there. From that we created this question set, something like that. Okay, these are all not here to this one. This sample questions, what is the greatest threat to the secrecy of encryption keys in a public cloud infrastructure? There are 4 options. The guy who has given the answer has gone for known plain text attack, but it is a wrong one. In the greatest threat to the security of encryption keys, it is a multi-tenant environment, right? It's a multi-tenant environment, only logical isolation. So there is a chance they can go for the side channel attack. Cold boot attack is also a part of side channel attack. So when I say side channel attack, all the attack which comes under side channel attack will applicable here. So separately, I don't go for cold boot. It's not a known plain text attack. Known plain text attack in cryptography is the attacker will have access to the plain text as well as the cryptographic text from the cryptography, the cipher text. From that, they'll do the attack. Here, they're not talking about anything like that. They're talking about public cloud. They're talking about the secrets of encryption keys. What is the threat? It's not known plain text attack. So I'll just opt that one out. Cold boot attack is good, but cold boot attack is also comes under side channel, right? So I can go for that. It's not a DOS attack. So like this, one question will be there. Okay. Clear now why I go for side channel attack?
Yes.
Again, like this only they'll test you. It's not in the exact book, but they'll test you. I'll share that question set with you. You can check it. Right? I have prepared. Yeah.
Which one is that question set which you just shared with me in that PDF file?
PDF, that is not shared, but a Word document, in that all these things in the PDF will be there. Okay, the questions will be there.
This PDF file also question, right?
This PDF is a separate one, right? This is a separate one. This I'll be sharing it with you. PDF questions will be there here in this document as well. It's captured here as well.
Okay.
That will be shared with you, right? I'll mail you this question set. You can go through it. For all the domains, the question set will be there. This question set you can practice before going for the exam. Okay. And tomorrow also I'll be discussing with you some more questions from domain 1 and domain 2 once I'm completing the domain 2. Now domain 1 is clear. Only thing I want you to focus in domain 1 is, because already you are aware about most of the topics, cloud computing roles, you have to memorize it for sure. Okay. 17,789. And then evaluation assurance level 1 to 7, you have to memorize it. These two things you have to memorize it for the exam from the domain 1. This is what you are like. Other things you are very good. You are having good knowledge. Only thing is you have to do some revision and do the practice question. That's it. Any doubts in domain 1? Domain 1 is clear right now.
Yes. Yes.
So tomorrow I'll be starting domain 2. Domain 2, you'll be getting a lot of questions. We'll do the domain 2. In domain 2, encryption related questions will be there. All this kind of questions we'll be discussing it tomorrow. Domain 2 will be completing tomorrow. And then after that, some questions will work out in domain 2 as well, like how we did it for domain 1. And this question set, I'll be sharing it with you. You go through the question set. Please don't share it with anybody. Okay, what are the questions that I'm sharing it with you? You have to go through it, and then we are going to review the questions, but don't share it with any other participants or any other people, right?
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
hope you'll not do that.
Obviously, why should I?
Okay. So this recording, once I stopped it, I'll upload it to the Google Drive and I'll share this recording as well with you. Okay. You can review it before the exam. So I hope domain 1 is crystal clear for you. What topics is important, what type of questions you'll be getting, what type of memorization you have to do. Any questions from domain 1, let me know. Any questions, let us discuss.
I believe I'm cleared in domain 1. I just need to memorize the roles and evaluation levels and
Yes.
some specifications and misdefinitions.
Yes.
Right?
And this one is very important, man. 15,408 evaluation assurance level. You already know what is 140 F12. Audit reports, you'll be getting a lot of questions related to audit reports, which we'll be discussing in domain 6, doing the question set.
Yes.
Okay, tomorrow we'll be starting domain 2, and domain 2 we'll discuss some more questions, because domain 2 will be telling what type of questions will come in the exam related to the domain 2. It's very easy exam, and don't worry. Only thing is you have to understand the concepts. You have to have an idea about what type of questions you'll get. What I'm discussing like that. What you have to memorize. That if you know very easily, you can clear the exam. Don't worry about the exam. It's very easy actually.
Okay, it's very easy.
No, it's very easy. Frankly, I'm telling you. Only thing